Hey guys, welcome back. It is time to take a look. We got a little scammeroni going on. We have a new company, a fairly new company called VerySwap, and that is, again, guys, not speaking for or against. We're going to see how they reacted to the scam that happened on their platform, to the counterfeit card that ended up in a user's hands. We're going to share that information and make sure that no one else was scammed by this individual. Again, I think they're doing the right thing here, at least for the most part. This is all my opinion. Remember that, guys? All my opinion. All my videos are my opinion. And we're going to see how they reacted and maybe ways that they could treat this a little bit better. Again, we haven't seen what they've done on the back end, so we're going to maybe suggest some things, maybe take a little gander in. Now, the premise of the platform is the fact that you can trade your cards with other people. They kind of act as a middleman service. And voila, they receive the cards, they ship them out, one to one and one to the other. I didn't read through their exact terms and anything like that, but I'm assuming part of that is the fact that you're promised that you're going to get an authentic card, that they're going to receive both, that they're going to authenticate them, they're going to make sure there's no issues with them, and they're going to send them to the respective new owners. Little traderoni. And for the most part, usually if you're in the high end, this kind of stuff that you're trading high dollar value cards or trading in general, typically you want to make sure you're doing it with someone you trust. Now, there are people that if it's a large dollar value and you so choose, you can get a middleman, you can get somebody that's super trustworthy to receive both of the items and do this exact same thing. Now, I guess this is basically using that service. Now, trading on the higher end of things, especially if it's going to be heavily in someone else's favor, you're going to run the risk of scams. And we have Alex PTCG, who's made a series of posts here, a series of I guess outreach, saying like, hey, I got scammed by this guy. I haven't seen anything on the VerySwap end of things. Now, they might have messaged all of the 15 users that traded with this individual. It's weird that you can be a veteran with 15 trades. That's a little bit weird to me. It's also weird to me that, like, it's pretty anonymous. I don't really like that, especially that there isn't an option to be less anonymous. Like, probably a good idea to be able to link your socials. If you're somebody trustworthy, if you're somebody that's dealing in this high-end stuff, you probably have an eBay account that isn't banned. You probably have an Instagram account that has some sort of post or something on it like that. Why there isn't some option to, I get it. You don't want to take people off your platform or anything like that. But at the same time, you probably, if the premise is like people can trade instead of buying stuff, you probably want to allow people to prove who they are, show who they are. Now, if they have to do that up to a certain dollar value, if VerySwap is they're gonna take the hit. If you get scammed, they're gonna take the hit. It's still not acceptable if they're dealing with cards that are worth $10,000 plus. They're not checking the authenticity. And yes, you have to check it on every single one, whether it's a lower dollar value than that or not. But it's crazy to me that something this expensive slipped through the cracks. And again, if you're dealing with just a ton of cards, it could be like the grading company where you're just pumping them through as fast as possible because you're trying to get the workload done. You're trying to keep costs down, but at the same time, if that's part of your service, you need to be on the ball for that. So first off, why we got the URL showing here is the fact that we have everyone has this like trader. They got the little spaceman avatar or baseball player avatar. They have this trader, and then we got 7 numbers afterwards. The problem with that is the fact that you can't search that. I don't know why they wouldn't just have actual usernames so that you're associated with the username so somebody can look you up if they want to look you up. I mean, they can look you up if they know your username, but like the majority of the stuff on the website is just this trader. So I don't know if this was their actual URL. It probably wasn't. It was probably some other custom URL that they used. Maybe it was Gballer Extreme 420. Don't trust me. I'm going to steal from you. I'm going to send you a fake card, and I'm going to run all the way to the bank. Why the trader thing? I don't understand. Even on the higher end of things, it just feels a little grimy when you're trying to hide who you are, what you're trading, who you are if you're trading things or if you're selling things, or it's the same kind of issue that we run into with the the anonymous, the exploits that can be used with consigners, whether it's the big auction houses or anyone else. Yes, the vast majority of people are not scamming. They're just sending their cards in through there. But it does lead a little back alley avenue for the people that are banned from everything, the people that are, you know, caught trimming, caught like altering cards and stuff like that, to, you know, sneak them in through the grading company, through their grandma's name or something, and then they send them off to consignment, and then voila, you don't know that all of a sudden Evan Mathis is trimming a card up, sending it through the grading company, tricking them, and then sending it through consigner. It's just a way to hide their trail, and I think this is kind of something similar that it just shouldn't exist, shouldn't be there. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's a happy medium there, but this whole like anonymous trader number nonsense, I don't think it's good. And I get it. The middleman portion of that is kind of the safety net, if you will. But the safety net, is the safety net working? Then if we go to VerySwap, if you go to profiles, there'll be like a username after it, but you can't type in that trader number to see the profile. So I don't know if this profile is banned. I don't know what the actual URL for the profile is. If I can find it, I will include it in the description and in the title of the video probably. But again, probably just something that shouldn't. Why? Maybe there's a reason for it that I'm not seeing, but I think it's better to be upfront and honest. You have somebody middling the transaction anyway. I don't know why you would. Is there really that much of a purpose to hide who you are, hide what your username is behind a bunch of numbers? I mean, at least there's still the reference there. So if anyone did trade with trader 0836890, you might want to be careful. If you were one of these 15 trades or the other 14 trades that happened, be very careful. Now, so if you go find a trade, and maybe you can after you trade with someone, this is not the platform for me. I do like trading, but I'd rather just do it with somebody that I trust, I know and trust, and not have to worry about that kind of thing. I have done a middleman trade before, but it's like few and far between where I end up doing that kind of thing. So here, if you go click onto a card that you want to trade for, you can check the comps, you can whatever, and then you see this trader 00. This person, want to make it clear, this person did not send anyone a counterfeit card. We're going to be taking a look at that in a minute. But just so you guys have a little bit of an understanding, you can see the card. The card has like a URL associated with it. But then if you go to view inventory, you can see this person's profile. It'll still show that like trader 0015627. But then up in the URL, you see that it's Garrett 480. Garrett 480, my apologies. To my knowledge, Garrett 480 did not send anyone any counterfeit cards. We're just using that as an example because it's available in the first one that we clicked on. Same goes with all the other cards that are on there. So that's the premise here. I don't know why the username doesn't show the actual username. Please, if anyone knows why that is, feel free to reach out. Now, before we get into the counterfeit card in question, the scam in question, the alleged scam, we should say, like, there's always a slim chance that somebody just didn't know that they had a fake card, but I kind of have my doubts. And also based on the other cards that were in their inventory, these bad boys here, especially the poncho. The ponchos are notorious for fake copies. I don't know. We don't know what those other copies look like, what those other copies were. They're also using scans. So maybe there could be something that even if you want to use a scan, maybe you also want to make them take a photo of the actual card itself. There's all kinds of layers that you can put in there in terms of security, and it really comes down to like whether or not VerySwap wants to cover your buns. All right, let's transition here into a better mode here. There we go. We're just going to move this over here. And I'm going to thank you guys for using the Rattle Pokemon link tree. There's all kinds of discount codes on there for very cool and reputable things that you can check out. There's a ton of affiliate links that you can click before you're shopping for stuff that you're going to buy anyway to support the channel here. Much appreciated to everyone who has been using that, has been using the Rattle 5 code on Troll and Toad to save 5%, has been going to Card Market, who is a channel partner. Much thanks to them. If you're in Europe, you're probably using Card Market, and if you're not, what are you even thinking? I've been picking some stuff up through them. Basically made a friend. So again, it's good to make friends. I'm sure there's some people that are maybe less social than I am, but if if you're into Pokemon, if you're into collecting anything, it's good to make friends. It's good to make friends if they're on the other side of the world, because sometimes there's some exclusive stuff that's over there. So if you're outside of Europe, you can always pester them. You can always even trade stuff. You probably have stuff in your region that they don't in theirs. Now, with all these companies, a lot of the stuff that's popping up, the super gambling vending machines, the new grading companies, all of that stuff. I don't understand why everyone wants to be the guinea pig. I don't totally get that. Like, there's tons of established, reputable, safe ways to buy and sell, to collect, outside of even just making friends. That I don't understand the liquid marketplace, for example. Like, people jumping into that, like, they're so eager to jump in and like do this stuff. Now, not saying that it isn't a good thing to have innovation, to have new stuff that comes out, but it's weird to me that people would. I mean, in the pandemic, I think that was a little bit of a newbie thing, that people were putting money into grading companies that probably weren't going to exist anymore, after everything cooled off. And yes, everything eventually cools off. No matter what it is, whatever's hyped, whatever's going on, stuff is gonna cool off. Now, we have Alex PTCG, who made a little post here. We should probably have the post itself. Let's get the post itself here first. So we have the post itself. We have this bad boy here. You got to fix this. This ain't no small trade. So we got a $21,000 trade. Would you rather? 21,000 seems high, but I haven't looked at those prices in a little while. But we got a little trade here for we got a Charizard Mysterious Mountains, the Japanese Skyridge equivalent, PSA 10 for a Gold Star or Rayquaza in the old Japanese variety PSA 10. And this is the trade. We had Alex PTCG, who was tagged on this bad boy. They didn't tag the other individual, the other person. But the problem with this is the fact that the Rayquaza was a counterfeit, which is a little sketchy. So yes, they need to be checking all of this stuff, whether it's $21,000, whether it's $5,000, whether it's $500, whether it's $100. But I think part of this service needs to be the fact that you need to be able to identify. The same way like the eBay authentication needs to make zero mistakes. Any of that stuff you need to be checking to see whether or not the cert is deactivated, whether it's stolen, any of that stuff that needs to be incorporated. Otherwise, what's the purpose here? So be careful. And this is another one of those situations where I'm going to tell you guys, if you're spending a lot of money, if it's a significant amount of money to you, you need to be able to detect whether something's altered. You need to be able to detect whether or not something is in a counterfeit slab, counterfeit card, any of that stuff. You need to do it all yourself. It doesn't matter if it's graded. It doesn't matter if it goes through eBay authentication, if it goes through all of the VerySwap checks or VerisWap swaparoos. You need to know what you're looking at. If it's a significant amount of money to you, you need to be careful. You can get ripped off. There are lots of people out there that are willing to rip you off. We've covered it many times on the channel here. So let's read the post. We have Alex PTCG, who says, since a lot of people are asking and curious about this counterfeit slab traded through VerySwap, I feel like I need to explain and provide more details. So again, if VerySwap hasn't, they need to reach out to everyone that this individual traded to. They need to be, I'm sure they have something in place where they need to be able to take action against anyone that's trading, that's ripping people off. They need to retroactively fix this, even if it takes a while before somebody realizes. If they have wrongdoers, and then on the other hand, if they're providing like an anonymous avenue, it's in everyone's best interest to know who this was. Like, if this person is purposely deceiving people, purposely trading them counterfeit slabs in an attempt to get real slabs, and they can bait it out. They can bait it out the same way the Instagram people bait it out. They're like, oh, here's a really good deal on this, on a card that they probably don't even own. And then you buy it. Somebody will always fall for the too good to be true. You need to not fall for the too good to be true. And the same thing happens here. You can have a trade that's too good to be true. You have the thing that they don't care what they get, as long as it's a real card and they're making a ton of money. It doesn't matter if their card is more valuable because it's not real. So, and again, this is going to happen. There's going to be mistakes that are made here. It doesn't look very good that it's a very expensive trade that it happened on. But I just really hope that they're reaching out to everyone that this person has sold or traded to. 13 days ago, I received a trade offer on VerisWap for my Crystal. Oh, it was a trade offer from that individual too. Crystal Charizard PSA 10. The trader proposed to trade his Gold Star Rayquaza PSA 10 for it, so I agreed because I was always looking forward to a Gold Star Ray in my PC. I shipped out my Crystal Zard the next day to VerySwap, and I finally got the GS Ray today from VerySwap. As soon as I saw the card, I knew that it's a counterfeit because I was scammed before by a similar counterfeit, and I ate that loss because that was not through a trustable platform. If you can differentiate the counterfeit in the pictures, please check out those YouTube videos. There are many counterfeits circulating on eBay as well. Be careful. Yes, same with the poncho, same with all of this expensive stuff. Yes, there are fake cases. Yes, you need to be able to tell the difference. You cannot blindly trust the fact that it's in a PSA case because there are fake PSA cases. Most of them, they're pretty believable. If you're not careful, if you don't know what you're looking at, it's a noob trap. It is an absolute noob trap, and it has fooled people, and it will continue to fool people. Here I appreciate VerySwap's fast response, and they tried to recall the package that has been sent to the scammer, but unfortunately it was already delivered. VerySwap told me that they will take the responsibility. I would still trust them as a trade platform if they can help me solving this case appropriately by either find my card back or refund me the value of the card. Currently, we are working together to resolve this case, and I understand it's hard right now for VerySwap because they are a relatively new platform, so people can still be nice to them. However, please be cautious about any trades on any platform, especially the big ones. Only trade with reputable people. True, and that's why I think it shouldn't be anonymous. Again, and even if this person makes it right, like, maybe they're linked to a bunch of other stuff. So we got the real and the counterfeit next to each other here. You can see we're kind of faded. We got a weird rainbowy crap going on in the background. Not to mention the fact that it looks like it's a direct scan of the hollow pattern. So be careful with the hollow pattern stuff. A lot of these counterfeits will be a scan of a card. It'll be like the TCG player copy or whatever else. Or if the scan's clean enough, maybe they use this scan to put the hollow foil on there. But be careful. Be very, very careful. You can see we've covered it before. If you haven't seen it on the channel, maybe I'll link it in the featured videos at the end of the video here, where you can take a look. But we had some Chinese counterfeits. We had Zhang who was recasing in fake cases. So if you don't know what the counterfeit cases look like, typically you want to look at the corners. You want to look at the little tabs where it gets kind of wedged together. But the corners themselves, because it's a mold of an actual PSA case, the corners are usually not sharp like they should be. Like the real one here, you can see the sharp corners, not to mention the fact that the card inside is fake. But you also need to know what a fake case looks like, because somebody could swap out the card that's contained. It could be a real card that's swapped in there. They could take a 9, they could take an 8, and put it in the 10 case with the 10 label, real 10 label. The label is not a sure guarantee. You got to know what the case looks like too. And you need to, ideally there's images online that you can go reference on the database, all of that stuff. So be careful out there. We have the opening itself here. Let's give it a little crackaroo. Do record everything that you open, even if you think it's safe, because it's through a platform that is supposed to be for that reason, designed for that reason. It's sketchy out there, and I hope nobody else got ripped off by this. I hope whoever was doing this, if it was intentional, which it seems like it was, I find it very hard to believe that someone that's trading cards of that caliber would not identify this as a counterfeit card. But to each their own. If you are the person that sent this card and you made an oopsie doopsie, I would like to hear from you. Please do reach out to me. That is one counterfeit card. All right, let's get into the rest here. We have an update. Alex, update. I talked to Raymond, and he promised me either to get my card back or find a replacement or the market value, which is good of them. It's kind of what they have to do. It's kind of the bare minimum. I do think that they need to, and again, I don't know in the background if they're actually contacting all the other people. They should be calling them up, ring them up, say, hey, you need to check your card that you received from trader XYZ LMNOP, number. It might be counterfeit. check into it. For comparison, be aware the fake card that has an unusual colorful pattern plus PSA label font is different. So we got a fake label in this case. They're not going to crack the 10. So there's different stuff that you need to be looking for. There's different scams, but be very aware of the fake cases, the fake labels, all of that stuff. It can be there. Maybe you tuck it away. Maybe you don't look at it forever. Maybe you're new to the hobby and you just have a ton of money and you pump it all into a graded card that's really expensive. You find out years later there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe that's what the trader was banking on. We have another update. I will ship the counterfeit back to VerySwap and they will verify the authenticity this time. We got a quick overview of everything. So here it is. So they even put it in a featured post. Like if you're gonna put it in a featured post, same with all the auction companies that are making featured posts about like, oh, a record auction. Make sure it's paid for first. Make sure it's a real sale. We've been seeing a trend recently of sales where it's like private sale, record breaking private sale. No, doesn't count. My apologies, but if the people involved don't want to show that they made this transaction happen, there's probably something that they're hiding. Especially if it's similar to the golden stuff where oopsie doopsie, the cert number right next to the one that sold for a record breaking crazy way above market, and then the one that actually sold after that did not, because it was public, right? So we got the VerySwap account here. Over 25 million in trades completed, and I wish them the best of luck. I mean, I don't know if I trust this guy, this Jeff Wilson guy, but I think it's a service. It's something that could be good. I'm kind of surprised that there isn't something similar that's through like, or I guess I would be surprised if eBay doesn't do something similar with their authenticity guarantee kind of thing, where they have trades through that. But yeah, I think as long as they're doing the right thing. I do think they need to be a little bit better in terms of like making it transparent of who you're trading with, because some bad stuff can happen behind the scenes there. Be careful. Good that they're making this right, that they're fixing the issue, but it needs to go a little bit beyond that. They need to be more careful with what they're authenticating. They need to be authenticating essentially. Otherwise, that trade, you could have done that trade without the platform, outside of like them obviously protecting the buyer. But if the buyer doesn't notice, or not the buyer, if the trader that got scammed didn't notice that it was a fake card, then they're shit out of luck, right? We got the Twitter, and then we got a final update here before I let you guys go. On have a good weekend, all that fun stuff. Alex says, update, Raymond just told me that the trade partner has agreed to send my Crystal Zard back to VerySwap, so hopefully he/she will send the right one back. Thanks again, VerySwap, for taking this fast action. Plus, I just sent the counterfeit back to VerySwap. So I think what we're missing here, the only thing we're missing is the full details from VerySwap. The fact that it should show if a user was banned. It should show their actual, you don't have to put their date of birth and their mother's maiden name and the 3 fun numbers on the back of their credit card on the website. But I think it is important that there is some identifying factor that's there. Otherwise, you could be covering up some really bad things going on. And again, this might have cost them $20,000. I mean, they quoted the price at $20,000 trade, so it'd be hard for them to justify not paying out the $20,000 or finding an equivalent card that the trader was happy with. But yeah, I think there's a little bit missing here to make it a truly a valuable platform, and that's transparency, and also to show, like, even, I mean, this looks bad, but even to make their own series of posts, series of like, hey, this so-and-so is a scammer, is not only going to, yes, is it going to look bad to some people who are going to be like, oh no, what, people are scamming on there? Yes, but also trying to cover it up isn't a good look. Covering for somebody that's scamming on there. If somebody knows, if someone's scamming on there and they know that there's serious repercussions, that you're going to take legal action against them because they're going to potentially cost VerySwap $20,000, then they're going to think twice about it. Not only that, but if they're going to get called out for it Because if there's some requirement that they have their actual name, they have like an actual, they have their other accounts or something to back up who they are and what they're doing, or the fact that if it's going to come out to find, like, it shouldn't just be a free pass. If they can see that this person is deliberately trying to scam people or was trying to scam people on their platform, it needs to be called out. Because otherwise we're going to end up with like an Arjun Dillon case where he's just going to, anytime anyone's like, oh, there's fake stamps on these were rejected on the grading company, and he just refunds them, and he still has 100% feedback on eBay, and he just keeps doing it to people that don't notice. Maybe he makes another account, maybe he makes it under a different name, all that kind of thing. So again, with this service, with the grading companies and everything else, my expectation or my praise is going to come with the fact that they're taking action against the wrongdoers, that they're going to call out the wrongdoers, that they're going to take action against the wrongdoers, and make sure that it's a safer place for everyone, not just on here, but everywhere else. Because if somebody's scamming on their platform, there's a good chance they were scamming somewhere else previously, or that they will go somewhere else and scam in the future. Or they'll make a new account and scam on there, depending on what kind of action, what kind of repercussions there were for what they did. So that's my thoughts. Thank you very much, guys. Again, it's not the type of platform that I can't imagine I would use, but I can see how people are excited about it. People like to trade. I do like to trade, but I would suggest doing so with friends that you trust and with a dollar value that you can risk. I mean, if you're mailing anything, there is always a risk that it gets lost or stolen in the mail, which can be resolved or not resolved depending on whether or not they want to pay out on the package, whether or not you declared or insured the package for whatever it was. So just be careful out there, guys. And if there are any updates to this, if I have an actual like URL or username or anything to do with that, I will update the video here. But I think that's all we got for it for now. Have a good weekend. Love you guys. Join the Discord. See you next time. Bye.